Okay, what do you mean he can just walk it off? He got slammed in the face with a steel cage door. What? Of course EC3 is going to be mad at Rockstar Spud. Why wouldn't he be? You can just walk that off. Really? Use a Band-Aid? Use a Band-Aid. This is why he's not a doctor.
Audio Jungle.
Hello everybody, my name is Connor, Oh, that had to hurt. OKayFabe, and welcome back to another fun and filled and fancy-free, kind of sort of, edition of the OneWrestling.com TNA Impact Wrestling Review right here on OneWrestling.com. And of course, the OneWrestling.com YouTube channel. Easy for me to say in one breath. Wait for it. Wait, I got my heartbeat back. Good. We're fantastic. Thank you guys again for watching me. Of course, continue to love and appreciate your support. Make sure you follow the entire OneWrestling.com family, as their various social media is in the description box below as well. And if you haven't already, hey, what are you waiting for? Go ahead right down there and hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button as well, too, if you want to keep on seeing all this fun, amazing content. Or just head over to OneWrestling.com as well, too, where you can see myself, Big Slam Nation, Bill Skylar, and of course, Bill Apter with the Apter chat. I still got to find my ways to Apter's Alley. By the way, Bill, about that $2 for that 2 miles of gas money that you owed me from the last episode of Big Slam Nation, I'm still waiting, and we're going to have a long talk at WrestleCon about that. Just, but, oh, yeah, Impact Wrestling, right. Like I always mentioned, don't forget to let me know what you guys thought of this past Impact Wrestling on Poptv by leaving your comments down here below. Again, hitting us up on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere else that OneWrestling.com is affiliated with. That being said, we got a lot of things to talk about, including another Kurt Angle farewell tour match, a King of the Mountain Championship match, a no DQ match out of nowhere, Drew Galloway versus Mike Bennett, and a intriguing unsanctioned fight. How can something be unsanctioned yet it's still happening? Like, if there's no, if it's it's weird. It's like I'm watching something that technically doesn't exist. Is that even possible to watch something that doesn't exist? It's like air or something. I'm getting way too. This is wrestling. I'm getting into philosophy right now. Okay. Refocus. Here we go. And go. So what a way to kick off Impact Wrestling this week with the second to last match of Kurt Angle's career. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little teary-eyed because, I'm not going to lie, it's going to stink not seeing Kurt Angle in TNA Impact Wrestling anymore following his match with Bobby Lashley coming in the next couple of weeks. I believe it's next couple of weeks, if not next week. This matchup was just a great way to really start off the show. It was a great, crisp match between both Roode, Bobby Roode, and Kurt Angle. Kurt getting the win via submission, of course, but of course, after the matchup, Roode and Storm thanked Kurt Angle for everything he's done. I even myself on Twitter, at OKayFabe, did a video towards Kurt Angle thanking him for everything he's done. I mean, this match, really, all his matches on Pop, I mean, all his matches in Impact Wrestling in general, really, have just been phenomenal. I mean, there's nothing else to really say, and it just really stinks that now, you know, TNA is starting to turn a corner on Pop TV and you're getting to see all these great matches, but it just, not going to lie, it stinks you're not going to be able to see him, but this matchup was amazing. Storm and Roode came out to thank Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle, of course, reciprocated by saying there is one match they would love to see, which is, of course, Beer Money versus the Wolves for the TNA World Tag Team titles. Of course, the Wolves come out and gladly accept the challenge and lay down the gauntlet, saying that they're going to fight to see who the best team is, and so there's a little bit of tension between the teams, but we will indeed see the Wolves put on the TNA Tag Team titles on the line against Beer Money. Listen, boys, I'd love to support either team, but I'm pretty sure I'd probably support Beer Money. I mean, come on. They have a cooler on wheels. As much as I think the Wolves are kick-ass and amazing, just he's got a cooler on wheels, folks. Do you know how much, like, dynamics and mechanics go into that? What do you mean, not much? Well, this is why I do this now, Mr. Doctor. We are then greeted by TNA World Heavyweight Champion Matt Hardy, who basically comes out and recaps everything that's led up to this particular moment, and of course asks Rockstar Spud to come out to, I don't want to say explain his actions, but kind of, you know, brag and gloat, more or less. Spud says he did the right thing and he got rid of the cancer, only for EC3 to reappear and completely clear the ring. Last time I checked, that cancer is not only alive and well, but pretty much kicked a lot of people's butts. He later challenges Rockstar Spud to an unsanctioned fight, no ref, no rules, and Dixie Carter pretty much agrees. Go figure. That's actually weird, but anyway, love you, Dixie, but like, oof. I'm just saying I wouldn't, but I don't want to get into business semantics here, but no, you know what? Good call not getting involved in this particular fight. Just Stay away. Speaking of crazy fights, out of nowhere, we get a no disqualification match between Abyss and Jimmy Havoc. Now, I didn't really follow too much of Jimmy Havoc's career, but I do know that this is kind of his specialty, really. And it's not so much that it was out of nowhere. We did see some tension with Jimmy Havoc and Abyss and Decay last week on Impact Wrestling, but I just didn't expect this kind of be made all of a sudden. But hey, I'm not complaining whatsoever. These two beat the ever-living snot out of each other, with Abyss picking up the victory after he pinned Jimmy Havoc on a barbed wire board. It seems that these no DQ matches have become, I don't want to say stereotypical, but you pretty much get the idea. Tables, chairs, and even cheese grater placed in various locations of the body where, let's face it, cheese should never be put. This matchup was fantastic. It was crazy. It was every hardcore spot that you could possibly think of, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, granted, it's not as extreme as other matches that we've seen in the past, either from TNA or other promotions, but hey, it's a great matchup in and of itself. I actually kind of hope that we see Jimmy Havoc more often and this whole storyline with Decay does continue, because it would be bad in my opinion, or at least it would be disinteresting for me to kind of leave it on the end of this note when there's still so much left to be done with this. But kudos to all the men involved in this matchup, although now I'm very terrified of ever getting a cheese grater again, because, well, you saw where Jimmy Havoc put it was just right up in his I guess pepper jack is the right word, because that's a type of cheese. So, hey, there's a fun pun right there. Poor Abyss and his pepper jack. Gail Kim has a beef with Maria Kanellis. No, not beef as in beef stroganoff or beef strudel. We're talking about a beef as in she wants to beat her up. Maria comes out saying that she's better than Gail Kim, and basically Kim retaliates by calling Gail Kim a bitch. Well, that escalated quickly now, didn't it? Maria goes on to boast, but only refuses to fight because, after all, she is a lady. She's the first lady of pro wrestling, and, well, you know what? I wouldn't say I would never get into a fight with her, but if we ever fought physically, me and Maria, I just kind of would anyway, I'm getting off topic. Gail Kim chases Maria, but unfortunately for Gail Kim, Jade from the Dollhouse ends up catching her and attacking her. Then Jade makes the intriguing challenge to Gail Kim for the Knockouts Championship, which I cannot wait to see. I was mentioning this for quite some time on the reviews here, that I knew that it would only be a matter of time for the Dollhouse would start to go their separate ways, and we actually see these women more in singles competition and develop their own characters. Kind of like in Jade after the last couple of weeks, so seeing her getting a Knockouts Championship match, woo, yeah! Although, Dollhouse is no more. Sadness, woe, misery. Meh, I'm okay with it. Looks like we're also treated to Eric Young, Psycho EY, defending the King of the Mountain Championship against a man named Damo from the UK. Apparently he's a very well-known independent wrestler in the UK, so, well, I guess alright, give me a second or two and see how well Damo does. Holy crapola! I love Damo! This guy's amazing! Damo uses a bunch of power moves, but at the same time to not only get some stiff shots in, but he's impressive with his power and how agile and how quick this guy is. Holy cow, man! Or beef, depending on how long you're watching this video. It's just, wow, this guy really was fantastic. For a guy that I really didn't know too much about, Damo really tore it up with EY. Granted, EY got some moves in, but Damo had most of the control. Of course, EY gets control fast enough back to hit a pile driver on Damo, and that's a shock moment in itself, but allows Eric Young to retain the King of the Mountain Championship. I mean, just what the heck? That was amazing. Please, Dixie, if you're listening, keep Damo around. That guy had my full attention. It just, holy crap. I mean, on the, but to also talk about EY, like I said, that pile driver thing was amazing. Just, jeez. Just for a second, I kind of wish I would also get into the head of EY, but at the same time, I'd be a little afraid to see what I would find. Do you believe in miracles? Well, Drew does. And he will when he fights Mike Bennett one-on-one in this amazing matchup. Now, I compared this matchup a lot to the Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode match that we saw at the beginning of the night. This matchup, however, was very different in the sense that it was, well, a little more fast-paced, of course, and it was a little more down and dirty with a lot more action outside the ring, but it was still a very sound, technical, crisp match, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And like I mentioned, it was a much faster pace, but still fantastic to watch. Both men look great in what I would consider probably a high-profile match for both of their careers. It was a great ending to the matchup with Maria kind of putting the foot of Mike Bennett on the rope, allowing, while Drew Galloway had his submission, the Iron Maiden in, allowing Drew to get distracted enough for Mike Bennett to get a quick schoolboy pinfall victory over Drew Galloway. This is exactly what I was hoping for these two. I was wanting to see and waiting to see Mike Bennett versus Drew Galloway, and it was everything I was hoping for. My only concern, again, much like the Jimmy Havoc versus Abyss match, is that this is not the end of the rivalry, that things keep on continuing and keep on trucking along. But speaking of things continuing and trucking on, let's talk about the unsanctioned fight between Rockstar Spud and EC3. I feel like this was taken from something. Was it taken from... Oh, it's Hardy's thing. Oh, because he just and he's taking the... I see what he did there. We close out this Impact Wrestling main event with none other than an unsanctioned fight between Rockstar Spud and EC3. And of course, this being a contest of wits of gentlemen and of, brouhaha and fancy fighting and whatnot, it's of course of course Matt Hardy and Tyrus would attack him beforehand. Of course they would. Matt Hardy and Tyrus attempt to attack EC3 on his way down to the ring where Rockstar Spud is so anxiously waiting for him. But of course EC3 overpowers both of them and locks them in the back of a truck. Are they still in there? Are they still locked in the back? Because I saw the tweet and I tried to help out Matt Hardy. I mean, he is iconic. Doesn't mean he has to go through and endure that. I mean, the back of the smelling truck is just... you never know what you'll find in there. I'm getting off topic again, aren't I? Sorry. EC3 comes to the ring and beats the ever-living heck out of Rockstar Spud, essentially turning Spud into a Spud. There's a couple of moments back and forth where Spud gets a couple of shots in, low blows here and whatnot, but of course EC3 ends it with a submission chokehold after powerbombing Rockstar Spud through the table to close out Impact Wrestling. Who doggy, this show was full with a lot of action. So this show had a lot of fantastic in-ring action, including basically all the matches that I recapped. The fight itself at the end was a weird way to end up Impact Wrestling, but at the same time it was kind of refreshing. No referee, wasn't really an official matchup. So you kind of got a little redemption and a little bit of ramification for Rockstar Spud and EC3, although personally I would have waited to just kind of stretch this out a little bit further. One of my biggest concerns, and this is obviously a concern because we're not sure where things are going quite yet with Impact storylines, is the fact of finality. EC3 versus Matt Hardy seems to be continuing that major feud. And while I do enjoy their matches, I just hope that this isn't something that goes on for too much longer to the point where it gets a little stale. Adding Rockstar Spud to the mix was actually a very smart move to kind of freshen things up. And while this fight seemed to close that chapter, I feel like there's a couple of other things you could do to kind of finish things off, considering they haven't really technically had a match yet. Same goes with, of course, the Decay Jimmy Havoc thing, and maybe if they kept Damo around, and of course the Dollhouse as well too. So TNA had great matches and great in-ring work this week. It's just kind of waiting and seeing where the storylines progress from there, just because I'm afraid that they might either, push things too far out or end things too quickly. So they're at a perfect medium right now where the storylines are really starting to get my teeth sinked into them. Like, meow. Why am I doing this? This is really weird, creepy, and disgusting. But anyway, what do you guys think? We here at One Wrestling always like to hear what you fans have to say about the wrestling shows and, of course, our review. So feel free to let us know all your thoughts about Impact Wrestling this past week by leaving a comment down here in the comment section below, or again, hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or, of course, hit us over at OneWrestling.com as well. I want to take this time once again to thank each and every single one of you guys for watching. We really, truly appreciate the love and support. So make sure you continue by sharing the videos, sharing the wealth, and, of course, hitting that subscribe and like button while you're down there. And share this with all your friends, because I don't blame you. I really don't blame you, but just that's a whole nother discussion. Make sure you follow us all on social media, including yours truly, Connor, aka OKayFabe at OKayFabe, where I tweet during Impact shows. Of course, check out Big Ray at Big Ray Show. Bill Skylar, you got the show. Fame Black at Fame Black. Billy Ray Valentine at Billy Ray Hustle. The Professor at PW Hustle at Prof PW Hustle. 8-Track Brown at Pharaoh Fancy. Make sure you join the Big Slam Nation by following us at Big Slam Nation. Of course, the legendary, the iconic, the one and only Mr. Bill Apter at Apter One Wrestling. Bill, I still want to talk about getting to Apter's. We're going to have a long talk at WrestleCon. That's all I'm just saying. Respectfully, of course. Anyway, thank you guys again for watching. Appreciate the continued love and support. Thank you guys again. And to quote Bill Apter, we will see you at the matches. As long as it's not the street fight between Rockstar Spud and Matt Hardy, or Rockstar Spud and EC3. I do not want anything to do with that. I know, he was going after him, but I mean, that's just... This coming from the man who says slamming a steel door on a face isn't a big